president has taken actions that he himself has said are those of a king or an emperor, not an American president. And he's doing this at a time when Americans want nothing more than both parties to focus on solving the biggest problems in our country.
There is celebrating in many parts of America today, and perhaps in some other countries as well. The immigration laws are changing. The president has done as threatened. Now the turn comes to the Republicans, some of whom are fighting mad, others tempered with caution, because in politics, one way or another, everything is a trap. Let's welcome to MidPoint, representing Idaho's 1st Congressional District since 2011, born in Puerto Rico and starting his life here in America as a child in Nevada, Republican Congressman Raúl Labrador. Congressman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Congressman, how far back has the president then put real immigration reform by taking this action? In many ways, some people say going against the Constitution and forcing the hand now of Congress.
Well, he's clearly going against the Constitution. This is a clearly illegal action, but I think the trap that we should not fall into is that we as Republicans are not going to do conservative reform. I think the immigration system is broken. There are conservative things that we can do to fix the immigration system. We have been doing it in the House of Representatives, and I think we need to make sure that we do the right things for America. But there's no question that we also need to make sure that we do whatever is necessary to stop the president from this illegal action.
But is it not fair to say that the American people, and a lot of people inside the Beltway, are asking, wait a minute, why did we get here in the first place? We have allowed this president then to take this action. He has blamed the Republicans. He said, if you guys had done your job, I wouldn't have to do this. So he is making Republicans the bad guy. And quite frankly, there's a lot of people out there who believe that not just Republicans, but Democrats as well. You are the bad guys.
We need to respond. He's lying to the American people when he says we haven't done anything. Look, for example, at the actions from last night. He talked that he was going to do high-tech immigration because businesses have been asking for that. We passed a high-tech immigration bill 2 years ago out of the House of Representatives. Well, guess who said that he would not accept it? The President of the United States. Guess who decided that he wouldn't hear it in the Senate? Senator Harry Reid. We have been doing immigration reform in the House of Representatives. We just haven't accepted the Senate bill. And listen to his words. He keeps saying that the only way he will back away from this illegal action that he did last night is if we vote on the Senate bill, if we vote and pass the Senate bill. This is extortion. That's not the way the Constitution works. You know, if his speech last night would have been the beginning of his reform efforts, if he would have gone to the American public with that speech last night and said, please help me get Congress to act, that would have been a fine speech. But that's not the speech you give as an emperor. That's not the speech you give when you're telling the American people, I don't care what you did in November. I don't care that you elected a Republican Congress. I'm going to act on my own. I think it's shameful, and I think we need to respond, and I think the American people need to stand up, and they need to let this president know how they feel about it.
Congressman, in many ways, when you say that the president is lying and you use the word extortion, is that not in many ways what he and the others would want, other Democrats would want? They want the Republicans to come out here in front and say, you're a liar, Mr. President, and you're extorting us, because they believe that that's going to turn the American people against you, and will also prove that you don't want any real immigration reform. Isn't that the trap?
Well, I think that's why we have to walk and chew gum at the same time. I think it would be a mistake for us to call him out on what he's doing and then to use this as an excuse not to do immigration reform. I think we need to let the American people know exactly what he's been doing. Since he was a senator from Chicago, from Illinois, he has been trying to scuttle all immigration reform efforts. You know, your listeners might not remember this, but he actually voted for immigration poison pills when he was a senator that killed the immigration reform efforts of the Bush administration. He promised the Bush administration that he was going to work with them on immigration reform as a senator, and that he killed it in the Senate. Then he promised the American people, and specifically the Hispanic community, that he was going to do immigration reform as his first action as president. Well, that was 6 years ago, and he didn't do it. But as soon as we took over the House, he started saying that Republicans wouldn't work with him, that Republicans didn't want immigration reform. That's not true. What we don't want is amnesty. And the number one thing that we need is border security. We as Republicans understand that the American people are compassionate people, that they will figure out what to do with the 12 million people that are here illegally. But the number one responsibility that we have as members of Congress is to ensure that our borders are protected.
And we're going to have to leave it right there because we are all out of time. But Congressman Raul Labrador, thanks for joining us. We're going to be in touch real soon. We have a lot more to talk about on this issue. Thank you, sir. All right, short break. We're back with the expert, the one who can tell us if indeed the president violated the Constitution.